Blue sky. Birds singing around. Human activity a little bit going around. And here you are, living. And you know, at some point, you will experience death. No matter what any religion told you about it, you're gonna know for yourself. You're gonna know for yourself. And while you're living, you naturally are thinking, well, if the death is certain, and you're just born here, you live for some duration, and you die, you drop that body, that form that you have. Humans, kind of foolishly, but have been going on and on about what's the purpose? Well, what's it all about, Alfie? What are we doing? When actually it's as clear as that blue sky above you. It's as clear as the sun. And the truth is more like, you could say, clear and quiet. It's been all just this chatter, this talky going on of distraction within you that's been indoctrinated into you by the myths of ignorance from religion, from advertising, from military indoctrination training, from, lunatic stuff here and there. We didn't know anything. They're just babbling on about a myth, about trying to sell you something, trying to control you of some way. And look what the whole answer is already there, within you. It's not outside of you. It never has been. It never was. All that thing of an external entity, the deity, the God idea, whether one God or 500, didn't matter. It was all made up. It was all fabrications. Fabrications, just to justify repression, justify control, justify a statement to say, we don't know why there's a flood. We don't know why there's the Black Plague. We don't know. So we just say, well, it's God. A God that judges at the same time. That's made up. It's lunatic stuff. Even if we, play along with it and say, it's God that judges, a God that says you can't be this, but you can't be homosexual. You can't say, God says women are secondary status. Well, God says black people, well, they're not as good as white people. I mean, God said so. Any of those things that have been said. Well, that God is a pretty puny, small God, isn't it? It's somebody you wouldn't pay any attention to or want to be around. It's abusive. So, of course, intelligently, you throw it away. And you recognize there never was God. They were just symbolic little terms to cover their ignorance about life processes and distract you so that you would pay money to the religion, to the government, to a organization, towards something and advertising that you'd go out and spend your time buying things and thinking that's what your life's about, buying things. So that when you're laying on your deathbed there, they can say, well, she went out and she did buy a lot of things during her life. Because what else do you know? In their system, not much. And that's too bad. Because inherently within you, you got the whole answer. It's pretty clearly there. It always has been. Always has been. Whether you realized it or not, or you recognized it or not, it's there. And if you sit outside and you see the sky, you hear the birds, and the air, you breathe, it's pretty obvious. You're born here, you live for some duration, you die here. You will know death. You'll finally know what it is. No matter what they told you, you will know it. And of course, when you actually figure it out, when you actually experience it, when you actually get there and do it, who are you going to call? What are you going to tell? It was all for you to know. It was for you to know while you were living. You can know it. People down through the millennia of humans, men and women, have found it, talked about it, understood it, tried to help others to, give them teachings of a kind of, here's how to do it. A path, a playbook kind of thing. And it's from direct experience, not myth. It was always them saying, this is from direct experience. There's no getting around it. This is direct experience. Well, what was one of the big ones? Simple kind of language sometimes, but profound in the implications. Clinging to impermanent things causes suffering. Now that's pretty straightforward. You can get that. The key words in there. Clinging to impermanent things causes suffering. And then, of course, what are impermanent things? What are impermanent things? Your life? You're not always 14. Suddenly you're 18. Then you're 20. Now you're 40. Now you're 60. Now you're 70. Now you're 90. Then you're dead. Whatever, right? Impermanent things. Passion. Sex desire is passion. And then you get married and you have sex and over again, and then you're done with that partner and that sex because you played it out from repetition. And somehow you think, oh, geez, romance is over and it's just, oh, geez, I gotta find somebody else and have some hot sex again. And, oh, geez, and then think that's it. Now you found the soulmate. No, and then you go through the same thing. Repetition into indifference. Impermanent things. Everything. What things aren't impermanent, you might as well say. There's winter, there's summer, there's fall, there's back again, around you go. There's day, there's night, there's change. You cling to having that, car, an automobile. I guess that's a big one. You cling to having any old thing. Clothes, I got to have that brand name, because that's really a top-notch brand name. Oh boy. And then when you lay on your deathbed, what are you going to do with those car and those clothes and those shoes? What are you going to do? You face reality. You only face reality when you die. When you're actually dying, when you actually just are letting everything, by nature, that's what happens, everything lets go of all this stuff of life and of your body, and to let go, because you're dying. And you might recognize, geez, everything was about my body. Pain, pleasure, worry, anxieties. I had a body, and now it's gone. What was it, Alfie? What was the purpose? Well, then you didn't know anything. It comes down to it, isn't it? There was an opportunity. If you were interested, if you were kind of wondering, geez, what this, boy. And here at COVID-19 times, you might be thinking, everybody's, a virus is able to kill off the human population? A virus? Ain't no God getting in the way of that virus. It's clearly pointing out, there never was God. There isn't any judgment. There isn't any interference like that. Never was. The whole thing was always present there within you. The answer was always there within you. It went no farther than you. You had to take the time. You had to have the interest to find out. You had to make the effort. And it isn't like turning on a light switch, folks. And suddenly you just get it and go, oh yeah, I got it now. The rest of my life, I'm enlightened. Geez, just like that. I heard it once, and that makes sense, and no. You got years of indoctrination that you've got to undo. Peel the onion away from. Let go of all that trapping and gripping and holding on to impermanent things. What do you come down to? As a metaphor or an analogy, it's sort of like air. Open. No border, no edge. Open. Clear. A sigh of recognition. And it's effortless. When you go the whole way, all the way. When you let go of all those attachments to clinging, when you clinging to impermanent things, when you kind of let that all drift away, well, what's there then? You're going to have to see for yourself. It is the answer. It is there. You can know it, directly experience it, and you can make it, and you could say, into your life. Now, what's the great about that? Because that's what you do when you die. You'll know it. You'll be comfortable. You'll be familiar. You're not threatened. You know what the whole deal has been. And while you were living, if you can have some amount of that clarity during your life, not clinging to these impermanent things, well, you have some of this clarity moments that you get more familiar with while you're living, and you repeat and repeat, and then maybe they, gradually they stretch out to longer periods of time instead of just a glimpse, a little bit here, a little bit, a few seconds, maybe. And you drift back then into all the thinking and indoctrinations. And then you go back to, it's back and forth for a while. Because you're redoing your mind, all those patterns that have been habitually, repetitively, you're just done them over and over again. Clinging to impermanent things. You let them go. Well, what do you end up with? Well, you get rid of all prejudice. You get rid of all bias. You see the great equality. And that's a pretty dramatic thing. That's an amazingly profound experience. You have it directly there within you already. And it is, on top of it, folks, it's not mythic. It's not just some fantasy little book of utopian thing, hoped for thing. It's here. Available. It's reality. Dramatically true, clear reality. Now that's pretty important for your life. At some point you're going to die. Maybe you ought to know a little something about reality.